Well, guys, the first new comic book day of the year is almost here. It's time to take a look at what's coming out so I can tell you what I'm getting. What's up, guys? BJ Kicks here. I buy comics, I read them, and I review them, all for your viewing pleasure. If you're new here, welcome, and if not, welcome back. Now, on this channel, I do comic book reviews and unboxings and all that type of stuff. So if you're interested, hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell icon. That way you're notified when new videos come out. Now, this is the latest in a series that I like to call What I'm Getting, where I take a look at all the books coming out in the coming week, and I tell you what's on my pull list, what's on the chopping block, and what's on the maybe list I might make a game day decision on. And I always have to try to stick to my budget, which is $50 a week. So we'll see how successful I am this week. Now, I always like to start with the book that I'm most excited for. But before I do, I got to give a quick shout out to Ultimate Comics. Ultimate Comics is my local comic shop, and they power my What I'm Getting videos every single week. Now, they got 4 locations in the Raleigh-Durham area. And just in case you're not local, you can shop on their website anytime you like to get exclusive variant covers, or you can shop twice a week on their Facebook live show at facebook.com/Ultimate Comics live show. So thank you to Ultimate Comics for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get into my pull list. And like I said, I like to start with the book that I am most excited for every week. And this week, that was a tough decision, but I'm going to go with Inferno #4 by Jonathan Hickman, of course, from Marvel Comics. Now, Inferno is Jonathan Hickman's last statement on the X-Men. Basically, his time on the X-Men is over. And so before he leaves, Krakoa for good, he's given us basically a bunch of conclusion, right? A bunch of conclusion to plot lines that he's opened throughout his time on X-Men, going all the way back to House of X and Powers of 10. And the way we ended issue 3, things are not looking good for Charles Xavier and Magneto. So I'm curious to see how issue 4 really wraps everything up. We've been told this isn't really an ending, like it's not really a conclusion, because there are storylines that are going to come out of here that expand all the way through the X-Men line of titles in the next few years. But I'm curious to see what Hickman wraps up, what he leaves open for the future, and just where the state of affairs is going to be once this issue is over. But that's got a cover price of $5.99, and I'm just getting the cover A. And since we're talking about Marvel Comics, let's go on to the rest of my Marvel books. Next up is The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 84. So Amazing Spider-Man's been weekly for, 9 issues now. Plus they put little .BEY tie-ins and stuff. So basically for the last 2 months, I've been reading Spider-Man every single week. And to its credit, it's been better than it had been prior to this run. But to its detriment, it's not always great. Well, last week, issue 83 was a really, really great issue, written and drawn by Patrick Gleason. It's probably my favorite book that I read last week. Really, really good. Peter Parker is getting his spider sense back. All signs are pointing to Peter Parker making a triumphant return at some point. The only issue with Spider-Man is that this Beyond storyline is just inching along. And so every book doesn't necessarily feel essential, but they earned my money with the last issue. So we'll give this one a shot. It's got a cover price of $3.99, and I'm just getting the cover A. And the last book on the Marvel Comics pull list this week is X-Men, issue number 6. X-Men by Gerry Duggan. If you guys watched my Best of 2021 stream last week, then this is one of my favorite titles that I'm looking forward to in this new year. And it's really because Gerry Duggan's done a great job of giving us single issues that really pack a punch and tell a great story in that one issue, while building us towards some really cool and high stakes plot lines all throughout. So there's someone who's working for the Daily Bugle who seems to have figured out that mutants have unlocked resurrection, right? And so he's been threatening to go public with this secret, and I think things are going to come to a head here in issue 6. I'm really excited to see how that goes. That's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm just getting the cover A, and that's it for my Marvel Comics pull list. So if I just stick to the list, my Marvel Comics are going to cost me $14 this week. Not bad at all. Now let's take things over to DC Comics and see what we're getting on the DC pull list. First up is Batman, issue 119, written by Joshua Williamson, artwork by Jorge Molina. I gotta say, that artwork in the last issue was amazing. The last issue overall was really good. A nice change of pace from the whole fear state stuff that we've been going through for the last year, it felt like. But Batman is leaving Gotham. We got the return of Batman Incorporated with a new benefactor that I won't spoil here, just in case you didn't read it. But I'll just say things are looking really interesting for the Batman title. I'm excited to see how this whole mystery wraps up. And like I said, the new benefactor for Batman Inc. really does seem to pose a pretty credible threat, and he's a fan favorite. I'm excited to see him in the Batman title. So we'll see how that goes. It's got a cover price of $4.99. I'm getting cover A. And next up from Tom Taylor and Yasmin Putri is Dark Knights of Steel, issue number 3. This book has been a treat. The first 2 issues, in my opinion, were 10 out of 10. Just great issues. Tom Taylor has kind of put this whole Game of Thrones, How to Train Your Dragon theme or skin on top of our normal DC universe. He's done really interesting things with the origin of Superman as well as the origin of Batman. And we're starting to get like this whole war between several kingdoms. And so it's interesting to see who's the head of which kingdoms in the DC universe. It's curious to see how the fight escalates. And, it seems to be like a Tom Taylor signature move to tell the full story in flashbacks. And so I'm curious to see who or where things are going, who's narrating the story. This is shaping up to be some of the most fun we're going to have in comics this year. Issue 3 is out this week with a cover price of $3.99. I'm just getting cover A. Next up is Detective Comics issue number 1047. Now, this is the first installment in a series that's being called Shadows of the Bat. So Detective Comics, much like Spider-Man, is going to a weekly release schedule. Written by Mariko Tamaki with artwork by Ivan Reyes, which is just awesome. This series is kind of about the rise of this new Arkham Tower. If you remember way back at the beginning of Infinite Frontier, Arkham Asylum was destroyed in a bomb by the Joker. And they're talking about rebuilding a new Arkham, but in a skyscraper with not just the asylum, but, some cool, wealthy people stuff. But also there's a guy who's claiming that he'll be able to cure all of these criminals in Arkham. And of course, if he's not successful, then that's just going to mean bad news for Gotham. So I'm excited to see what this bad news looks like, especially since Batman has left Gotham, and it's going to be the whole Bat family that has to kind of pull together to fight this new threat whenever it may arise. So Detective Comics 1047, I'm down for the ride. By the way, I'm getting the cover A, but if you're not picking up these cover Bs by Lee Bermejo, now might be a good time to start because he's only getting better. That one is super dope. And beyond the Lee Bermejo cover, Jorge Fornes has got a cover 1 in 25 cover C that's looking really good. We'll see what the price is like. I might grab it. Probably not. I'm trying to stick to a budget. But cover price on the cover A is $4.99. So that's the one I'm getting. Now, next up, and the last book on my DC Comics pull list is Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 6. Now, of course, number 5 made all kind of waves for the new relationship that John Kent is entering in. But there's also a new threat being brewed for John. Someone attacked John Kent and made his superpowers just go super crazy, all hyper aware. He was like hearing people's threats across the world and doing way too much, trying to save everyone. So I think it's interesting that the first major attack on John is an attack on his nature to want to help everyone. But in this issue, we're going to find him recovering and starting to take that threat on head on. So I'm excited to see how that goes, as well as figure out these things that are happening with John's new partner, because he apparently is superpowered as well. But that one's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm just getting the cover A. And that's it for my DC Comics pull list. So if I just stick to the list and don't buy any extra variants, stay away from the variance kicks, then I'll just be paying $18 for my DC Comics this week. not bad as we move on to the independent and creator-owned titles this week. First up is Nocterra, the Blacktop Bill Special #1. This is a one-shot issue for fans of Nocterra that also is apparently a good starting point if you have not been familiar with Nocterra before. Nocterra, written by Scott Snyder with art by Tony Daniel. I'm picking up this issue specifically because it's got artwork by one of my favorite creators, Dennis Cowan, aka the co-founder of Milestone Media. And not only is he doing artwork inside the issue, but he's got a cover B, and that's the one that I'm grabbing. It's got a cover price of $3.99. And like I said, I'm getting the Dennis Cowan cover because fan. Anyway, moving on. From Image Comics, we've got Spawn, issue 325. Spawn, written by Todd McFarlane, art by Carlo Barberi. This cover, usually I get the Todd McFarlane covers, but I haven't seen one solicited for this issue, so I guess I'm getting the cover A. I'm not reading Spawn. I pick it up for the artwork because it's great. It's just like a masterclass in what superhero art should look like, but I should probably start reading it, right? It's only $2.99. But anyway, I'm getting the cover A. Next up is, and this is the last book on my pull list this week, The Walking Dead Deluxe issue 30. So from Robert Kirkman, art by Charlie Adlard. This one is a reprint of the now classic creator-owned series that really made Robert Kirkman who he is, but it's all in color. And so for someone like me experiencing the story for the first time, I think it adds a lot. And if you read it before, now you got a chance to collect it in color. And so that's always exciting. And I love these covers by David Finch. So that's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm just getting the cover A. And if I stick to the list, my indies are just going to cost me $11 this week for a grand total of, drum roll please, $43. That's before taxes and my 10% subscriber discount. That I'm excited about. Again, sticking to $40 list. Now, like I said, I don't think I want to buy anything extra, even though I'm under budget, because there are a couple of weeks later on this month that are definitely going to take the budget over 50. So I should probably keep this surplus in the bank to cover those weeks. But for now, we're excited and happy that we're under budget with just $43 in total spend. And I want to know what's on your pull list. There are several books that I saw that looked interesting that I decided not to buy. I'm not reading Justice League Incarnate, for example. But what's on your list? What are you excited about on my list? Let me know in the comments below if you want to see the full list of this week's releases so you can make your decisions. That is live on comicsaredope.com right now. Hope to see you there. And until next time, hope you saw something you liked in this video. If not, hey, that's cool. Because you can always buy what you like. Just make sure you read what you buy. And be nice to others, because kindness makes the world go round. Peace.